So hello and welcome. I received a very interesting question, rather a request from some students who received an interesting task that I was interested myself about resolving. And the question was more or less about how can you compare the conjoined discrete choice experiment and the model-based experiment and see what are the impacts of these two tests and which method is better, which method is worse. I had to read more about the menu-based modeling. It's a very interesting aspect. We're going to discuss it in a second. But anyway, I wouldn't say it's a magical cure. It's just a different way to conduct an experiment. I tried to do it with Qualtrics, and after, let's say, 3 days of thinking and few hours of trying, I didn't come up with a perfect solution, but I think it can be an inspiration for those who would like to see how it works. And probably you will need some JavaScript knowledge because I didn't manage to do it. So somehow it works, but not ideally, not as I would wish it to work. So what we have is we have to look at the difference between the discrete choice experiment and the menu-based modeling. And the main difference will be that if you look at the, let's say we take the first one, is the discrete choice experiment. And discrete choice experiment, you have a bundle, let's say, of something. Just sorry, fighting with my mouse. Bundle, and the bundle would be, I think we can take the one from the real menu. It's like a main course. You have the side dish and you have a drink. And if you buy this bundle, if you go to McDonald's or Burger King and you buy a bundle where you have both one item from the main course, one item from the side dish and a drink selected, then you receive a discount. That's why you also have a kind of the price that is discounted. And how discrete choice experiment would approach this issue, we would just create different bundles of different possible constellations of your meal, and we will just run as many experiments as we can. Let's say if it is a simple one, we can run about 10 decisions for each participant, and then after making a test you can find out which combination is more interesting and actually which of the aspects makes this combination more interesting. But there are some people who say this is not the best approach, and you can make something like a menu-based modeling. It's called the menu-based modeling. And in this event, you introduce not the bundle, but items, where you can select for the main course and you select precisely the burger for the price. Let's say the burger for $1.99. Then you have the nuggets for $1.59. And you have the side dish, for example, would be, instead of side dish, we take the French fries for $0.99, and we have, for example, onion rings for $1.29, and so on. And a drink, you have, instead of drink, of course, you have done the precise drinks, for example, coffee, sorry for typos, for $0.99. You have the milk shake for $1.39, and you have a Sprite or Coke for $1.29. And you can, instead of price, you have at the end a discount. Because if you buy only one, let's say you decide to buy a drink and a burger without the side dish, then you will not receive this bundle price. You will have to pay just regular price. It will be, let's say, the burger $1.99 and French fries $0.99, so it will be $3.98. And this is how you would usually approach this problem. So, but if you have both French fries and burger and coffee, then you receive a discount, and discount would be, for example, a discount of 10%. Yeah, this is how it would work. And which method is better? In this event, you have different tests and different combinations that make user be a kind of surprised by the choice, and then you can find really where they see the highest utility for themselves. If you have this option, they can directly select it. So on the one hand side, you can select what you want and you don't need to ask about different bundles. On the other hand side, you cannot do it for several times, because if people have selected, what will you show them in the next selection? You can slightly change prices, but it will not work as we would like it to work. That is why I show you how I would approach this issue if I were the students who asked me about this idea. I would create a discrete choice experiment, and I would start with the one with the classical discrete choice experiment. The attributes would be, you don't see them, they're on a different screen, main course. Then we would add a side dish, and we would add a drink, and we would add a price. Yeah. And as the attributes, we would add burger, we would add nuggets. As the side dish, we add French fries. I'm glad that you don't see all my typos. We add onion rings, and we add, what else could be a side dish, a salad. And by the way, it is a very good idea to add none. And to the main course we can also add none. It can be surprising if you receive all of a sudden a selection where you have all the nons and still the price is high, but it can happen. But anyway, I don't know whether none is a good option. I think, okay, let's delete it here because I'm not sure. It can really happen that you will have all three nons and then the price of €7, which would be probably a kind of weird. You can later play with the edit and you can say that all these options 3 times none never appear, but let's just remove it because we talk about the meals. So let's say the drinks we have as a drink, we have the Coke, we add coffee, and we add a milkshake. And as a price, usually for the menu, you would pay about, let's say, €6.99. I think it's better if we do it with dots, so I just edit it as a $6.99. We add another price would be $7.99, and we add the price $8.99. And then we go to edit, we go to settings. You don't see it, but I'm going to bring it here. You don't want to randomize the attributes. At the moment it's simple, you don't need to do it, and usually people start with the main course and side dish and drink. That's why the order can be retained. The number of tasks per respondent, as it's very simple experiment, I would say we can make about 12-14 selections and it wouldn't be a problem. And number of tasks per respondent would be 2. We save settings. I saved this file. Last time I forgot to do it. That's why now I have to repeat it. And we do it as a CBM, choice-based modeling, CBM, saving it. And then we go to edit and we create, we create the Qualtrics file that we call the CBM. I have it already. I created only one task for simplicity, that's why I will not create it one more time. I forgot to save the initial file, but I had the outputs, that's why I have them. And export to PHP, and we export is a CBM PHP. I save it one more time because previously I had it with commas, now I can have it with dots. Or we can use the old one. Actually, it doesn't really matter, but anyway. So you save it, I don't because I have already the file. Okay, now we go to Qualtrics. And we create a block that we call the CBM, and we create the first experiment. We add a question, and you can watch several videos that I have already uploaded for you, so I don't need to repeat all the stuff. I just do it very fast, and we'll see whether I succeed. I just need to find my files that I saved, and here they are. So you can see that I need this CBM task. If I had saved 14 options, there would be 14 files, but I need only one for demonstration purposes. Open it with Notepad++. Copy everything. It will look not the best, but sufficient to show you what I want to show. And if you want to make it nice, just go to my previous videos and watch how you should do it. Go into source code, entering all this stuff, and we have it. And this would be your choice 1, or let's call it menu menu 1, and let's call it menu 2, and we also can call it here, instead of choice, menu 1, and instead of choice 2, we called it menu 2. So now you have to upload the file. You go to the survey flow, and as you see, I have a different one. That's why we need to delete this one. It is what I played with yesterday. I just delete this one, and I enter a new, add a new element somewhere here, add a new below, and I would like to add a web service. And here I can add the file that I actually need. Now it was the cbm, if I understand correctly, cbm.php. Let's check. Does it work? Yes, it works. It's exactly what we wanted to have. So I copy this one, go back to Qualtrics, enter it here, click on test. I have, as you see, prices and burgers. As you see, the only difference is prices with a comma. I discovered that if you want to play with the numbers in Qualtrics, you need to have a dot. That's why it could be interesting for you to put a dot instead of comma. Okay, embed data. Yes, I'm sure the data is here. I have all the variables. And if I go back now to my survey, yes, I want to save changes. Forgot to do it. Will it work? Yes, I hope it worked. So if I go now on preview, I will see in the first option, this will be the discrete choice experiment. Let's go to preview. And it would look like this. So which of these options would you like to have? It looks not so nice. In my other videos, I show you how to make this columns looking nice. And you can also, by the way, play with a picture of burger. And many people who make menu-based choice, they propose you that really use pictures of real dishes that you can select. And in this event, we have this nice option. You can select menu 1 or menu 2. What would you like to buy? And at the end, after making 14 such decisions, we can calculate what was the preference with regard to different types of constellations or whatever you can have. Okay, so I'm going to do the following. I'm going to delete this question because I want to show you now the other version, the selection with the solution with the menu-based choice. So I'm deleting this one. I go now to my CBM, and actually I need to change it because instead of this main course, side dish, drink, and price, I need to have them separately. I need to have them as the separate items. So your menu-based choice will be much larger, but it still would look interesting. I'm going to open the saved file that I didn't forget to save, and to show you how this would look like. Instead of main course, I can add the burger and the price here, $2.99, $3.91, $99, nuggets $2.99, French fries, onion rings, salad, Coke, Sprite, Fanta, coffee, milkshake, and the discount that will be calculated if I select, let's say, the main course, the side dish, and the drink. Then I get, let's say, 10% discount on what I'm going to do. Here you go to edits, you go to settings, and you again do no randomized, it's fine. And actually what you will need, I decided to do it in a very clever way, at least that's what I believe, is to make 3 tasks per respondent. I'll explain it later. It should be 1 profile per person because you will see only 1 option. You will not see 2 restaurants where you have to select from. Click on Save Settings, then you again create your JavaScript files, I export to PHP. I don't like JavaScript because at the end it's too much work, so I prefer the version with the PHP, and create the Qualtrics question template. I have already done it, and then I did the following. I went here and added this option the same as I did before. I will not show this question later. I just wanted to have this text here because it's easier than to enter it all manually. And then I added a question and said, remember, if you add main course, side dish, and a drink, you receive a discount of, and here's the pipe text, and I just took this item here, which is, by the way, the discount. If we just go to preview, you will see all the things that we have coded. Look on the first question because the rest we're going to discuss a bit later. So this is how it looks. You see, the problem is that I did not import the new file. So go back to the survey flow, delete this one because it is not what we need. It's from the discrete choice experiment. We delete this one. We go here, add below, and we add web service. We add the same, but in this event I add my MVM PHP that I have already uploaded. And we click all the items, and we click on embed data. As you see, it is a much longer experiment, but it is even a short one. Remember, we took the very simplified version, so the menu choice experiment will be longer. Now I go back to my survey, and now I'm going to start it just to show you how the first question will look like. We won't use it, it's just for us to have some inspiration, and this is what we generated. So the burger for the price, nuggets, french fries, onion rings. And usually if you're on menu-based modeling, you take the actual prices, but I think it's better if you randomize prices, because sometimes the burger has a discount and is sold for €1 less. Sometimes you have the, I don't know, the Italian weeks, and you have a bit more expensive burgers for additional €1, so $4.99 and so on. But this is how it looked like. We don't need a choice too, so just to have an overview how the question would look like. And now what we do with this question? We add a new question, and first we inform the participant about the discount, that if you, by the way, buy three of the things below, we're going to add them below, you will get this discount, and I take this discount from here, so they will see exactly what they would have seen if I did a discrete choice experiment. Then I added the question that are the multiple choice, and as options I added the first line here. And the first line, if you remember, was burger, and the price was $3.99, so they would have seen here a burger for $3.99, or nuggets for, let's say, $2.99, or no main course. Then I add the same for this side dish, and this would be, for example, your I don't know, the french fries for $0.99, the salad for $1.29, or whatever we had else, onion rings, I think, for $1.29. And the things will change. So sometimes you will start with onion rings, sometimes you will start with a salad, and the prices will also change, but I made only a few levels. I think I added only $1.99 and $1.29, so like you can really see what are the actual prices to them. Would you like to add a drink? And then actually I had a problem, because then it would be great to actually show the price, and this is where I ended. I'm just going to show you how it will look like. So I'm going back to the preview mode, and now look at this question. So theoretically I will delete this first question, because it's just for me to make copy, and then I would show only this one. You can get a discount of 20%. What would you like as main course? Okay, I would like to have a burger, I would like to have onion rings, and actually would like to have a no drink. And then you click on the next. To show you how it will look like, I'm going to delete this question, and I'm going to add, we don't need a page break, actually it was the idea. I tried to import data, but I did not succeed. I'll show you in a second what I try to do, and maybe it will help you in your endeavor when you try to resolve this task. Okay, so let's go to the preview. And now they will see something like this. So, what would you like to buy? With a discount of 20%, I would like to have nuggets, I love onion rings, and maybe a coffee, why not? And click on next. And the data is saved. So again, the problem is that we don't see the final price, and I tried to introduce the final price, but it was a bit tricky. At least I didn't manage to succeed. You can add a text question, for example, and you can add in this text question the answers from the previous question. You can take the question, what was it? Main course, and I can take the selected choice. It will show me the text. It will show me burger for $1.99, which is not helpful because I need only the number, and I didn't manage to extract the number. So maybe you'll succeed, but I didn't. And you can theoretically add also, instead of the text, you can theoretically add the value. So it was 96, I think it was this one. And if you go here, this is where I tried to do something. I went to recode values, and I could recode them as, let's say, 1, 2, and 0. And theoretically, I can also show these values. I can show 1, 2, and 0. I cannot insert a pipe text here because it would be easiest just to show here the real value, what I saw, but I didn't manage to do it. You have to do it with JavaScript. I did not succeed, maybe you will. And then you can also show the choice. For example, if I select something, this will be the rich content editor. We go to the pipe text and we do the survey question. Main course, and I take select the choice recode. I will see the code, the value. And in the ideal way, you would do something like this. If I understand correctly, it would be E. And then you make a sum of, let's say, of these questions that you will see the values. If you had, let's say, 1 and 2, we can take 1 plus 2, but instead of 1 and 2, you can enter the values if you manage to somehow prescribe the values of 699, 399, and so on. I'm just going to show you add a page break because it will be shown on load. It means only after I have selected something on the next page load it will appear. So we have the burger $2.99. Note this option, and we'll make no side dish, no drink. And if we go here, we'll see burger for $2.99. So I managed to show this text, but I managed to show the answer. It was the first option, and we can make a calculation. So ideally, you would take the price from the burger plus the price from the drink plus the price from side dish and multiply it by the discount. All these values you have, but I just didn't manage to impute them. And then you can show the final price of your meal is, let's say, $6.95. This is what you can do. And why I said you can do the 3, because you can do the 3 task, because if I were you, I would do it in the following way. I would add here another question. Can I add the question? Where is it? Add a new question. As a text question, I would move the question above, somewhere here. Where is my text question? Can I move it to the top of the block? Move question, top of block. Okay, and I would write here something like this. Dear participant, and we would like to know your preferences for lunch. We have discovered 3 restaurants close to your location that offer similar dishes. Please, in order to avoid biases, we do not name these restaurants, but show you only the menus. Menus. Did I make it correct? Menus. Yes, no. Menus. Okay, let's assume. Hope it's not so wrong. So, and then we add page break somewhere here. Why didn't that? I think it's just, okay, just slow. We just delete this one and delete this one. And then we start here with the restaurant 1. So, and now comes the trick. Theoretically, you can copy this block. We call it now mbm2, copy. And as I produced 3 of these values, I can go here, and this will be now the restaurant 2, and I can substitute all this value with 2. It means that I will manage to run within one survey 3 restaurants comparisons. And this will give me an opportunity to collect more data than it would be a way to overcome one of the limitations that you cannot have several menus. But you can say these are the menus from several restaurants. I don't think you can have too many of them because they will be pretty close, pretty the same, but I think for the users it will be okay, that they will have to answer this question. In this way, you will manage to collect more data. So the next issue, as you can imagine, so you just select it, make it all to 2, and so on, and the new data generated from our SDD tool will be shown here, and then you make the comparison. The next issue that you will have to resolve, the first one, is how to show the discounted price. It would be great to have, because it is an important issue. There are plenty tutorials. I did not succeed in them, but maybe you will. Is of course to save data, and I think it will be a lot of manual work, because you will need to check, you will need to work with the file names, and then you have to copy. This will be your variable names, and you will have to copy the data into your variable names. If you want to avoid this issue, you can go again to the question, go to recode, and you can give these items plausible names, that you already have this value. It will already be there because we have imputed it. That's why I would go for another name that would show you, for example, if you take, instead of F22, you make, let's say, B221211, and you will just know that if this variable is stored there, this should be the same value as F211. At least how I would proceed. B212, and so on. No main course would be just, for example, I don't know, no main course is also fine. This is the trick that will allow you to store the data correctly, and will be a lot of manual work at the end if you have the final file comparing it. And then you can see what are the impacts, what are the differences between the different variables. If you make the first calculation with a discrete choice experiment, what is the value of a burger? And then if you have the real values of the burger and see whether they have impact on the final decision, that it is being preferred or it is not being preferred. So very interesting way to resolve it. If you succeed, please share your codes. I would be happy to show the next video where I show exactly how you resolve it. And if you have data, you can send it to me, and we can think about analyzing it jointly and just offering a video for everybody to show how you make this calculation of differences between the same problem approached using a discrete choice experiment and the menu-based modeling. I hope it was helpful, and I hope it was an input for those students who wrote me this very interesting email. It's, by the way, very interesting to resolve this task. And I wish I had a bit more time to make the real solution, collect data, and see what's going to happen. But maybe the visitors of my channel will do it, and then they will share it with you, or they will send it to me, and I will make a calculation and share it with you. Enjoy, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.